Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're peeling back the layers on a headline that really grabbed our attention. It's from investing.com, a snapshot from August 30, 2025.
Right.
And it declared, pretty enthusiastically, I'd say, EOS climbs 11% in a green day.
Yeah, that catches the eye.
It does. And it makes you immediately wonder, okay, but what's really going on behind that number? Is this, a comeback or something else?
It's a great question because what's really fascinating here, I think, is how one single day's dramatic gain can actually tell or maybe hide a much bigger, more nuanced story.
Okay.
So when we look at the full context, this specific move for EOS, well, it implies a lot about its recent past, its place in the whole crypto market, and honestly why understanding these dynamics is pretty crucial for you.
Right, whether you're deep in crypto or just curious.
Exactly, how these markets actually tick.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Our mission for this deep dive. Understand this intriguing surge, put it against EOS's own, let's say, tumultuous history.
That's putting it mildly.
Ah, yes. And compare it to the big players, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then widen the lens, see what the rest of the financial world was up to that day.
Should be interesting.
Get ready for some, I think, genuinely surprising facts and maybe a few aha moments about how these markets move. So let's dive right into those specific numbers that first caught our eye. Saturday, August 30, 2025. Investing.com index says EOS trading at 0.01 p.m. Eastern, 11.01 p.m. GMT.
Okay.
And here's the kicker, the reason we're talking about it. Up a whopping 10.65% on the day.
10.65%. That's a noticeable jump.
It is a significant move for any asset, really.
And it wasn't just, a random small uptick. The source specifically points out this was EOS's largest one-day percentage gain since August 19th, so just over a week prior.
Okay, so there's some recent context there, too.
Right. And when you see a move like that, especially if things have been quieter, it naturally grabs attention. People start asking, okay, why? What happened?
Was it news, sentiment, something else?
Exactly. That kind of single-day swing definitely makes heads turn, especially in a market known for being, well, volatile.
Now, here's where we hit our first real head-scratcher, something that needs a closer look.
Okay.
The article mentions its market cap was pushed up to $0.0. Zero. Representing 0.00% of the total crypto market cap on this specific day.
Zero, after an 11% gain.
Zero. But then it immediately reminds us that historically, EOS market cap hit a high of $17.5290 billion.
Wow, okay. $17.5 billion down to reported is zero.
How do we square that? An 11% surge reported zero market cap and this huge historical peak. It feels paradoxical.
It absolutely does. And that's precisely where the critical thinking comes in, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic point. This numerical anomaly is probably one of the most intriguing bits here.
So what could it mean? A typo?
It could be several things, and this is important for you, the listener. One, yes, it might just be a data reporting glitch. Happens all the time in fast markets. Complex data feed, things go wrong.
Okay, plausible.
Or two, it could mean its actual market cap is just so tiny compared to the whole market. I mean, Bitcoin's trillions, that it simply rounds down to zero in that particular reporting field.
Ah, like a rounding error on a massive scale.
Sort of. But think about the implication. If an asset's market cap can effectively look like it vanished on paper, even while posting daily gains,
Yeah?
it tells us those gains might be happening on fumes, maybe super illiquid, driven by tiny trading volumes, perhaps disconnected from any real robust value.
So that green day isn't so green after all.
It makes it look less like a grand revival, yeah, and more like, well, a flicker. It fundamentally changes how you might see that 11% climb.
Okay, so that's the zero market cap puzzle. Let's look at the immediate journey then. We have this 11% daily surge, but what about just before that?
Right, the short-term context.
The article says over the previous 24 hours leading up to the 7 p.m. report, EOS traded in a range from 0.6612 cent up to that peak of $0.7329.
Okay, so the day's low was around 66 cents.
Right. So while that 10.65% climb was the headline, it happened within that, relatively defined short-term band.
Indeed. And while the daily surge looks impressive alone, you absolutely have to zoom out slightly, connected to the bigger picture.
And what does that show?
Well, the article points out that the past 7 days actually saw EOS lose value overall. It dropped 3.37% in that week.
Oh, so the week was negative despite this one big day.
Correct. Its trading range over that whole week was 0.6497, so just under 65 cents, up to that 0.7329 peak. It just shows you how fast things can flip, right?
Definitely. Intense short-term swings.
A big up day can easily just erase some recent losses or even happen within a broader downtrend. Doesn't necessarily mean a turnaround.
And for the real sense of perspective, this is where the history hits hard. The article states, even with this 11% climb, EOS is still down. Wait for it. 96.81% from its all-time high.
96.8%. Ouch.
That was $22.98 back on April 29th, 2018. That's not just a drop, that's a cliff dive, isn't it?
It's a brutal journey. And it's such a powerful reminder, almost a cautionary tale for anyone looking at crypto charts.
How so?
Well, for many assets, the long game hasn't been steady growth. It's been these extreme boom and bust cycles. That 11% gain today looks nice in isolation, but it barely makes a dent in those massive historical losses.
So the aha moment is?
It's understanding that not all rallies mean the same thing. Historical context is everything. You always have to ask, is this a real recovery or just a small bounce in a much longer, deeper fall?
That's a critical question. And speaking of context, there's another piece of data here, trading volume.
Yes, volume, always important.
The article notes the volume of EOS traded in the 24 hours leading up to the report was $598,218.09. Let's call it just under $600,000.
Okay, under 600K.
Which, it says, represents 0.00% of the total volume of all cryptocurrencies traded.
0.00%, so essentially negligible compared to the whole market.
Right. What does such a low volume tell us when the price jumps 11%?
Oh, that's incredibly significant. It's a detail you absolutely have to look for. Because while 11% sounds great, such a tiny trading volume, less than $600 for a whole day, basically nothing market-wide. It suggests very few transactions actually drove that price move.
Meaning
Meaning it could have been just one or two larger buyers, maybe. Or the market for EOS was just very thin that day. Not much selling pressure, so even a little bit of buying could push the price up disproportionately.
Less resistance.
Exactly. So for you, the listener, it flags that this rally might not have broad support or conviction behind it. It could be less sustainable, easily reversed, if that limited buying dries up.
So not all gains are created equal, especially on low volume.
Precisely. Key indicator.
Okay, so EOS had its own little fireworks show, it seems, maybe on low volume. But let's widen the view again. Did the giants, Bitcoin and Ethereum, have similar green days? Did the tide lift all boats on August 30th?
That's the crucial question for gauging overall market sentiment, right? And what really stands out here is the contrast. Bitcoin, market leader, last reported at a pretty hefty $108,568.04 on the index. But its gain for the day, just 0.20%.
0.2%. Tiny compared to EOS's 11.
Tiny. Its market cap huge, of course, $2,161 billion, making up, what, 57.38% of the whole crypto market. So Bitcoin was stable, maybe slightly up, but no fireworks.
Okay. And Ethereum, the number 2.
Ethereum was trading at $4,360.06. Its gain, even smaller, 0.02%.
Wow, basically flat.
Practically flat, yeah. Its market cap, $525 billion, about 14% of the total market, so barely a ripple for ETH compared to EOS's double-digit jump.
It really highlights how isolated EOS's move was then.
Absolutely. That stark difference tells you EOS's 10.65% jump wasn't part of some broad crypto rally. It wasn't a sector-wide thing.
So specific factors must have been at play for EOS itself.
Almost certainly. When you see performance diverge like that, it points to asset-specific news, maybe development updates, partnership rumors, or just, as we discussed, speculative trading in a thin market. It forces you to look for the why behind EOS specifically, not just assume the whole market was bullish.
Okay, so crypto majors were calm. EOS surged alone. What about the rest of the financial world? Did traditional markets have a green day that maybe spilled over, or was EOS truly an island?
That's the next critical layer. And actually, if you look at the traditional market indicators for that same Saturday, August 30th, you see pretty much the opposite picture.
Oh, really? Red?
Largely red, yes. Major indices were down. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 0.20%. The S&P 500 down 0.64%. And the NASDAQ, the tech-heavy index, dropped even more, 1.15%.
So stocks were mostly down while EOS was way up.
Exactly. So EOS's green day wasn't part of some big risk-on mood across all assets. In fact, it happened while major stock indices were retreating. That makes its move even more distinct, doesn't it?
It really does. Very specific to its own world, it seems.
Or its own internal dynamics, yeah.
And the article also listed some trending stocks, showing a really mixed bag too, right? Which underlines that lack of a single market direction.
That's right. It paints a picture of fragmentation. You had Alibaba, the Chinese e-commerce giant, up a strong 12.90%. Big gain there.
Okay, so some things were definitely up.
But then you had NVIDIA, NVDA, the chipmaker, down 3.32%. Tesla, TSLA, down 3.50%. And Marvell Technology, MRVL, another semiconductor company, down significantly 18.61%.
Wow, 18% down from Marvell. So all over the place.
All over the place. It really shows it was a patchwork of individual company stories and sector pressures, not one big synchronized wave.
It's a great lesson, isn't it? Different assets, different sectors, they can all dance to their own beat.
Precisely. A powerful reminder for you, the listener, that correlations aren't fixed. Individual performance often comes down to unique factors, even when the wider market seems to be going the other way. Now, before we wrap up, there's one more really crucial piece in this investing.com article. It's the part people often, scroll right past.
The fine print, the disclaimer.
Exactly. The risk disclosure. It's absolutely vital, especially when you're dealing with something as volatile as crypto.
So true. And the language is usually pretty direct, isn't it?
Very direct. This one states clearly, trading financial instruments and cryptocurrencies involves high risks, including the risk of losing some or even all of your investment amount.
All of it, yeah.
And that it may not be suitable for all investors. It highlights crypto prices are extremely volatile and can be slammed by external factors, financial news, regulatory changes, political events.
Things often outside the project's control.
Completely. These aren't just standard warnings, they're fundamental realities of this space.
Things you have to consider.
And this raises that key question for you listening. Are you fully informed? Are you truly comfortable with these risks?
Good question.
The disclosure also warns about margin trading, that's borrowing to trade, saying it increases the financial risks. Magnifies gains, yes, but magnifies losses too. Big time.
High-stakes stuff.
Very. And it advises you to carefully consider your own investment goals, your experience level, your appetite for risk, and importantly, seek professional advice if you need it.
Sound advice.
And maybe most critically, for interpreting data like this, it states the data on the website is not necessarily real-time nor accurate, and prices are indicative and not appropriate for trading purposes.
That's huge. Indicative, not tradable in that moment.
It's a massive distinction. It means the numbers we're discussing are snapshots, maybe delayed, meant for general information, not as perfect, up to the second signals to hit buy or sell.
That really puts things in perspective, especially when you see a big percentage change.
It does. So what's the takeaway for us as informed learners looking at this 11% EOS climb?
Well, it seems like it's a strong reminder that the excitement over a daily gain, it just has to be balanced.
Balanced with what?
With a clear-eyed understanding of the risks, the volatility, the potential for data quirks, and the limitations of the information itself.
Absolutely. It's about seeing the whole complex picture, the good, the bad, the history, the warnings, not just that flashy headline number.
So let's recap. We've taken a deep dive into EOS's significant 10.65% surge on August 30, 2025. We peeled back the layers, saw how this single-day jump, maybe on low volume, maybe with that weird zero market cap report, how it stood out against its own recent weekly losses, its absolutely staggering historical decline from nearly $23.
96% down.
And how it contrasted with the calm or even negative performance of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and major stock indices that same day.
Quite the unique performance.
It really was.
And what we ultimately learn, I think, from digging into this snapshot is just how incredibly complex and, often contradictory financial markets can be. Especially crypto.
Contradictory is a good word for it.
A Green Day headline. Sure, it grabs attention, fuels speculation, but it's vital for you to understand it's just one pixel. One tiny piece of a much larger, dynamic, sometimes baffling picture.
A picture that demands critical thinking.
Critical thinking and a deep, sober respect for risk. It's about seeing the movement today in the context of yesterday, the wider economy, and as we said, the limits of the data itself.
So after exploring EOS's roller coaster journey from that peak down to this recent daily jump and weighing that short-term excitement against the, frankly, daunting long-term challenges and those explicit risks, how do you, the listener, interpret a market where an incredible surge can still leave an asset just nowhere near its former glory? What does that tell you about the stories we look for in financial headlines and what a green day truly means in the wild west of crypto?